What up, guys? It's Brian Johnson, owner of Complete Fitness for Women, Knockout Fitness, and we are here with the Fit Table Podcast, bringing fitness, focus, and nutrition to the table. We have today, as always, Mrs. Vanessa, Mrs. Kalisha, and Mrs. Christina Burnett. Today we're going to be talking about Peri. Boom, 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 boom. Peri, ladies, how does this affect you guys in regards to your fitness focus? How does this affect you guys? Vanessa, start us off.
First off, for me, if I don't get a good night's sleep, it definitely affects my performance throughout the day. If you have not encountered Peri yet, be prepared for those night sweats to the point where you're waking up at 2:33 a.m. and your shirt is drenched. When I tell you it is soaking wet, it is soaking wet from all the night sweat. So,
Wow.
to do what I need to do in the morning, I'm trying to control the night sweats, which is hard. I do take some vitamin E, which has helped me. You definitely need to check with your doctor before you take any additional vitamins. But I was getting up and was unable to fall back asleep. Hitting the gym in the morning was definitely a struggle for me. But it has affected my health journey in that way. And then also the second thing is the food and how my body is processing things now as a 43-year-old who was forced into perimenopause because of my cancer diagnosis. So the medication that I'm on, it doesn't block the estrogen. It slowly over time is decreasing how much my body produces, because that is what was the match that lit the fire for my cancer. So
for my guys that don't know what this is, what Peri is, could you give me like a breakdown of explanation of exactly what
I'm
it
gonna
is?
let Kalisha handle that one because I feel like she has
Yeah.
the best
great
description of exactly
great.
what Peri is. That would be very relatable for everybody, men,
And
women.
she has a page. That's what I'm talking
You
about.
got it.
No. All right. So when we think about perimenopause, postmenopause, perimenopause is the time that can be from 5, 10, 15 years before you hit menopause. Menopause is absolutely one day. It is that day after you've not had a period for 12 consecutive months. And that's menopause. And then anything after that day is postmenopause. So Peri starts with the decline of estrogen. And since estrogen helps us with a plethora, that's my favorite word, of things, that's where I don't want to say issues, but that's where the symptoms,
The challenges.
we start experiencing things like hot fat flashes, night sweats, you got vaginal dryness, you're cold. I have a constant ringing in my ear that never goes away. Women talk about having what we call a cold shoulder, which is it just feels like soreness that comes out of nowhere.
Yep.
You don't know where it came from. It goes away, it comes back. Mental health decline is the biggest one. Depression, insomnia, emotional regulation, like you're crying one minute, you're happy the next minute. I crashed out on my family over a packet of ketchup one time. You just can't, there's no regulation. You don't know from one minute to the next. Joint pain, and irregular period. So estrogen manages all of that until we get to where estrogen starts to deplete. And then all of those symptoms come and hit you like Thomas the Train. It's almost like it's out of nowhere.
Recycling the body? Is it like recycling the body somewhat? Like what's the purpose of it? Like, I'm the slow dude in the room right now. So what's the purpose of the
So we're going from women go from you're a child to you're childbearing to you're no longer childbearing. So it's that up and then that down, because we no longer need to bear children anymore. And so our estrogen starts to go down because we don't need all of that, which it kind of makes sense because you need your brain power, you need your joints, you need all of this stuff.
Yes.
When you're in your childbearing ages. And once you get to that point where you no longer need that, and there's no rhyme or reason, like it could happen at 30, 35, 40. But one thing that I think that made me think, because my mental health decline was the biggest thing, among other things. But like the mental health decline for me, the brain, I call them brain farts, where you just don't know what is going on. You don't remember like work, and telling my kids, meaning to say put something in the refrigerator, and I say put it in the dishwasher, or put it, you know what I mean? Like just simple mix up of words and stuff like that. So like the mental decline for me was the hardest, but I feel like, as we'll get into this conversation, that's why a lot of times when you're going through Perry, they stress fitness, nutrition, training, all of that stuff. But one thing that just like for me brings it all together is that the suicide rate for women is the highest between the ages of 45 and 64, which is during that time where things are changing rapidly. There's oftentimes, I know for me, they may have other experiences, but for me, like when those things started to happen, when I was in the best weight of my life, or in the best shape of my life, and then stuff just started happening, like I don't like anybody, I don't even like myself. So I went to my doctor and was like, something's not right. Like I've got this belly fat I can't get rid of, my cholesterol is going up, I've got hip pain, knee pain, wrist pain, all of these pains. And then she says, well, you just need to lose some weight. And I'm like, but okay, I get that, yeah, but I feel like I'm in the best shape of my life, like there's got to be something else going on. It's just like, well, you're in that stage, and it's just you're getting old. But it's not, I don't think it's fair to just tell women you're getting old, accept it, move on. It's a part of life, because there are things that you can do to manage it. And then there was something I wanted to say, and I just completely lost it there for a minute. But yeah, that's Perry in a nutshell. And here's what I say, like when my husband's like, well, what are the flashes, or what did it feel like? You know, the baby on The Incredibles?
Yep.
When he gets upset, that's what it feels like to me. It's like your entire body is on fire. Yeah, like just flames are everywhere. And then sometimes for me, it can be like there's flames, like I feel the flames internally, but outside I'm cold, if that makes sense. Like it's just none of it makes sense. I mean, it does on paper, but like when you're in it, you feel like you're going crazy.
Like
it makes sense to someone else. Someone else is totally understanding what you're talking about.
I feel like you said it best, Kalisha. Like you went to your doctor at the age that, the age bracket that we're all kind of sitting at, and it's, you need to lose weight. Oh, hey, you're getting older. I mean, I know that when I had my children, there would be like a follow-up. How are you doing mentally? Like what's happening in your body? Like all these things. They would have like a checklist to go through. And now going through perimenopause is, why are they not whipping out this checklist? Why are the doctors and other health professionals not helping and guiding women better? Especially since it is such a high rate of suicide and depression and all those things,
divorce.
And I get that we're older, and most of us don't have babies anymore, but we still need to be checked on. Check on your friends, check on your other female associates and colleagues, and because every day we are going through something.
Does it also affect your want to go to the gym, or to not gym, but activity? Got it. So what Kalisha was saying about the losing the weight piece, that's like irrelevant. Like, okay, I know I got to lose weight. It's me getting my headspace correct to go into to do that activity. Gotcha.
And then, like, I think I mentioned this last week. So, like, you've been in the best shape that you feel like you've been in a very long time. And then here comes Perry at whatever stage you are in it. And then the weight starts to add, your joints start to hurt. You feel like you don't look the way you did. And I've mentioned this, that it's not like how people make you feel in the gym, is how you feel, because your mental health is already shot.
True.
Yeah.
So trying to get to the point to where you feel comfortable stepping back in there and essentially starting all over again, that's hard too.
Yeah.
So let me get this right. You have, while you're pregnant, that's going on.
Yep.
When you get older in life, this comes along. When you get to the point where you're unable to have kids again, it comes right back. So it's pretty much an ongoing. That is bananas. Like
Yeah.
it's pretty much an ongoing situation
Yeah.
from prior to prior to having a child, during pregnancy, post pregnancy, and then when you're unable to have kids anymore.
Yeah.
That is wild.
All that.
That's interesting.
And
All
so
that.
we're
That is crazy.
educated, like as young girls, we're educated on our period because it's something that happens,
And I didn't even mention that.
but we don't need, there's no conversation at any point about peri coming. And like a lot of people, you hear a lot of people say, well, ain't nobody told me about this. Like all I heard about from my mom, aunts, grandma was the hot flashes and night sweats.
Yes.
That was it. And of
Yep.
course everybody was like, oh, she's moody. And I was like, I get it now why she was mad I didn't take the chicken out or I didn't clean up, because you got so much else going on and all I
Right,
asked you to do was one thing. But like they didn't talk about, or maybe it was a different time. They didn't talk about stuff. But our generation is like, no, wait, stop the bus. Like it's some stuff going on that we need to talk about. And if we can't talk to our doctors, at least I do feel like that I have friends, cousins, whatever, that we can compare and be like, okay, I tried this worked for me. What have you tried this? Have you done this? So just trying to figure it out.
Yes. Any experiences, Christina? Of course. But your personal of course you asked.
I mean, night sweats, obviously. I mean, even though they'll come during the day, I'll be standing somewhere and my body is completely hot from the inside, but on the outside, I'm cold. But I'm over here sweating like crazy. The fatigue, headaches. I get ringing in my ears from time to time. It's not constant, but at least once a day. Hair loss, like the amount of hair that I lose on a daily basis is unreal. And one thing I would have never associate with, and it just came up in a conversation with Kalisha and one other gym member, was deodorant. Hence the Old Spice. Is like my underarms, I would either just have to keep reapplying deodorant, or I literally my underarms would get so dry, itchy, have a little rash. And just, I would have never thought it was associated with that, because it was something that suddenly started. So in having a conversation with them, I was like, you know what? I've been using Dove, switching between Dove and Degree all my life. I think I'm gonna try this Old Spice that y'all talking about. So, and it works.
It works.
It really does. But as far as my fitness journey, like I am tired a lot. But I don't really think it's affect my fitness journey, just because I do strength training twice a week. And it's on my calendar. It's part of my schedule. It's part of my life. So it's just, even on days I don't feel like showing up, I do, ultimately, just because I know I feel better afterwards. But the biggest thing for me is definitely like on and off headaches. I mean, I got one right now, but it's not bad. It's just like a faded kind of headache, and just push through them. But that's pretty much my experience right now.
I swear you guys, every time we talk about this, I swear you guys threw me off with that Old Spice piece, man. Like that, I would have never, and each one of you all use it. Like that's crazy to me. I would have never figured that you guys used, out of all the deodorants, out of all the women that I know that they have engineered different types of deodorant for women, and you revert to freaking.
I mean, even the clinical
Old Spice.
don't work. And in some degrees, it literally, like, especially if you're having to reapply, I'm reapplying because it's like it feels sticky. I feel dry.
Wow.
Yeah.
You get a different, your body, it obviously changes every 7 years, but it's like all of a sudden it's like, I hope that I don't stink. I'm having to reapply.
Right.
I don't smell myself, but I apologize in advance if I was ever around somebody and they were like, "Ooh, girl, you smell like a batch of onions."
Oh wow.
Like there's nothing worse than being in the gym and being like, did I forget to put deodorant on? But I know I did, but why do I feel like I forgot to?
I'm not kidding. I have a deodorant in my car. I got one at home. I'm like, I ain't going nowhere stinking. I
Yeah.
promise you that.
Intern
Well, yeah,
freaking
because the
West.
hot flashes just come
But it
on,
is. It's like
and you
chronic.
just don't. I mean, after a hot flash,
Yeah.
you
They do.
literally like, for me at least, I'm just like I'm sweaty. Like I'm feel clammy. I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to go reapply. But I mean, you
Yep.
Don't get me wrong. I get the deodorant. I get all that.
It's like an
the
internal
Old Spice is killing me.
Hey,
I get the
That
deodorant. I
just-
I
get
know they
that.
say secret is pH balance for a woman, but not a
No.
grown woman.
not a
Not a
grown one.
grown one.
Ooh,
Not
wee.
one
No.
in Perry. Definitely
Wow,
not one
wow.
in Perry.
No, not
And
at
that just,
all.
Ron, that just
But
goes back to me saying like some of the stuff we just had to
Yeah.
figure out because
yeah.
like
And even
Interesting.
when like I don't really have inflammation, but I do have joint pain. But a lot of times I just write it off. Oh, well, I just did this, so maybe it's because of that. Not realizing it's sticking around a whole lot longer. So I'm like, well, it
Mhm.
definitely isn't because of that now. So it's just, and you learn more when you're having
Yeah.
conversations with
Mhm.
other women. I know it's hard. Like who wants to sit around and talk about, girl, you having some issues with your underarms? Like, but I mean, those are conversations that
I mean, who
You
else are
should
you
be
going to
having.
talk to
have
about it?
with
Each of you all
and you
have this.
constantly
Yes,
speak
Who
You
yes.
else
know?
That should
and
be a
who
comfortable
else
conversation
knows
with
how
women.
you feel? Yeah.
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 Wow. So Vanessa, I know you have three
Yep.
girls, correct? Christina, you have one.
Want to eat. I got the best of
Yes,
I'm
yes.
the one that connects us together.
How do you guys talk to your, like you said, you mentioned in regards to Kalisha, you mentioned in regards to generation back then. So
Mhm.
correct. They just dealt with it. My mother and
Yeah.
father, it won't no complaining about it. It was just a
Yeah.
deal with type of situation. That's the way it was. So
Yeah.
they did not pass a lot of that stuff. They did what they could as far as communicating. How have you guys talk to your children, your girls in particular, in regards to any of this?
I mean, I'm pretty like
Either one of you
open and
two.
honest with them. Obviously, having 3
Mhm.
girls up in the house is whole lot of estrogen plus myself. And having a spouse that only had brothers, it was very interesting to kind of explain it to him as well as the girls, like all the things that your bodies can do and how amazing a woman's body actually is. And I will say that forever and ever because we
True.
literally are such an amazing human being from head to toe and all the things that our bodies can do, grow a child, feed a child. I mean, it's just crazy. But I
Self-sufficient.
mean, literally,
Yeah.
but then here we are.
Yes.
The whole reason why our body can do all those things is because we have to go through so many changes. We have our hormones that change. We get our menstrual cycle, and then we stop getting our menstrual cycle. Some women have to get a hysterectomy, some women don't. Like, regardless, we
Yeah.
are all going to go through perimenopause and we are all going to go through menopause someday, regardless. Some just earlier than others, and it's a fact of life.
Let's not forget
Oh,
that period.
Lord.
Like you guys go through a lot of stuff, man. Like it's like a total cleansing lifetime. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's what it is, right? It's like it's
Yeah.
cleansing the body, cleansing.
Constant.
Mhm.
That is crazy,
Constant,
man. Yes,
Yeah.
that is wild.
it's just something that obviously back in the day, we learned about it from school. I don't ever recall my mom teaching me about getting my menstrual cycle. I don't ever remember us ever
No.
having like a sit down conversation between me or my sister. And we learned about it in school. We got the recommended stuff that we needed from the drugstore, and I didn't want that to be the case for my kids. So we had, I don't want to say an uncomfortable conversation, but also, I mean, it was a realistic conversation with my husband there because he has no clue.
I was
He
just about to
has
ask you
no
that.
clue. But I will tell you,
No
George
clue.
is
He was
the best girl dad. He was meant to have daughters. He is just the most understanding, I mean, girl dad out there, to the point where he'll be like, did I get
Yes.
I need to send the picture of this box of tampons. Did I get them the right tampons? I'm like, you need to ask them. I really don't know. He's like, I know it matters. I know it matters. I know like
because that
they would be
matters.
mad if it's the wrong one. So I think that he understands and he's very sympathetic towards the girls and he also can tell when it's coming. Because believe this or not, Brian, when you hang around with
Interesting.
people, your cycles sync up with one another. So just imagine
Yeah.
how that is in a house
One
full
more,
of
one more
4
time.
women. And we are all
Means you
synced up
all have it
together.
at one.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh wow.
So if
Oh,
you have gym ladies that work
Yep.
out together Monday through Friday,
They sync
they
up
sync
together.
up too.
Syncing up with each other.
So if you feel like you're getting
that
death
is
stares
freaking
from all
amazing,
the
man.
women
That
in
is
boot
Yep.
camp, that's
amazing.
It's
why.
crazy
Yes.
how like now that I only have one of my daughters home because the other ones are out at college, and I rarely see her because she's a workaholic, how my cycle has now synced up with 2 or 3 of my really good friends who I see more often. I
Mhm.
like it is the craziest thing. I can't even explain it.
That is
So
bananas.
to have her,
Yep.
Yep.
Now I gotta
to have a
research it.
spouse, yeah,
I gotta go
you really
research it.
should because it's really interesting. I mean, to have a spouse that never
Yes,
It
yes,
grew up with
yes.
sisters, and then all of a sudden he has 4 women in the house, 4 females in the house, and has to kind of balance and understand. And I mean, teenage girls on their period is just wide open. There are no words. The amount of food and the craving and the mood swings and the
Him knowing when to get out the way and just go sit down
exactly.
somewhere.
So
Yep.
Yes,
he
yes,
is
yes.
Yeah.
he pretty much just steers clear until someone says, "Dad, can you? Hey, can you?
All
I
clear.
need your help. Can you that like kind of thing." So, but yeah,
Yeah.
it's we're very realistic here.
Wow.
Yep.
I gotta research that now. I really freaking gotta research that. I
Yeah.
Have you
most
never
certainly.
heard that?
The sinking? No, never. I've never heard that before. And I want to know why. You know what I'm saying? I want to know why that actually happens or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I've
Yep.
never heard that before. Like I am not crazy to the fact of, you know what I'm saying, periods, PM. You know what I'm saying? I'm not crazy to the fact of that, but I understanding it. You hear about it and like, okay, let me get out of the way. But you hear about it and now listening to this is yeah, that's crazy. I did not know about the
Yeah.
sinking. I didn't know about none of that.
Mhm.
That's nice.
Mhm.
Interesting. Wow. Ladies, so talking about that, onto something a bit more serious, a serious note. Dealing with children. How would you deal with children? Right now, of course, I have a daughter and I'm watching her and I want her to be as athletic as possible. You know what I'm saying? It comes to the point whereby I notice her either putting on too much weight or not doing enough as far as eating, so smaller than she should be. How do I approach that situation? How do I talk to her? What do I say to her? What don't I say to her? Help me out with that one. Help me out with it. And this is more towards me and other individuals out there that may need this information, that are going through this as well.
First of all, just the don'ts. Don't ever compare her to somebody else. Don't ever
Yeah.
use the
Got it.
words fat, skinny, big, little. Do it from you do it from a health standpoint. But it also takes you as a parent getting them in the kitchen, introducing them to healthier versions of food, letting them help you cook, because there's nothing more satisfying than I help you cook this. I want to eat it,
Mhm.
kind of things. But definitely, when they, and not forcing them to eat or forcing them to, okay, you want her to be athletic, but you want her to do things that she enjoys
True.
versus putting her in things. And again, you want to do it from start to finish. If you start this, you finish what you're competing in or what you're doing, but you also, encourage that. Especially if they're good at something too and they want to quit, have those open conversations as to why, because sometimes it has to do with coaches. Sometimes you're going to have to move them from here to here to have something better. I had that experience with Mahaley. She was doing competitive cheer for years. She's exceptionally good at it. And all of a sudden she wanted to quit. And it's like, well, why? And she did. It was because the coaches did no longer seeing her team as a winning team. So they focused on the other team who were winning competitions. So that became an issue. So it's having those conversations with them about that, but also allowing them a safe space to have that conversation, being open about anything they want to come and talk to you about. They want to come and talk to you about stuff they're hearing from their friends. I'd rather you come and talk to me about it. Been here, done that. What you hear from your friends isn't necessarily the truth. Always made them feel like you can come talk to me and ask me or your father any questions. We're going to answer, we're going to answer. And to this day, like my kids are a whole lot older, but they still come to us and literally will ask questions. Sometimes I'm like, well, can you go talk to your dad about that? But if I also know if there is something they bring up to me and their father can answer that better than I can, I'll tell them, go talk to your father. But I also, we're not together anymore, but I do give him a heads up. I'll call him, I'll text him, let him know, hey, Elijah's about to call you or Mahaley's about to call you with this. So he's kind of prepared and starts thinking about how he's going to respond. So it's that co-parenting too, even though they are older. But definitely never compare them to anything. I think that was it's very soul crushing and devastating because when I was gaining weight, some of my family members, as a joke, thought it was funny to always say, you're going to look like your Aunt Sandy when you get older. And my Aunt Sandy, God rest her soul, is like 350 pounds and has got a big caboose. It made you hit the gym even more. I didn't get no disc orders from it, but it could happen. I mean, it mentally affects you. It can affect how your eating habits, your workout habits. Because for a long time I was determined, hell no, I ain't living like that. I'm like, no way. And it did make me go harder in the gym, but it took me a while to say, you know what, you're not really going to look like that. Even though it started off as a joke, it wasn't funny. It wasn't funny to me. And that's why I say don't ever compare, even as a joke, don't compare me to somebody else, that is what you consider bigger or an unhealthy look, because what healthy looks like for me and everybody that's on here is very different.
Totally
But
different.
definitely
Totally.
keeping that safe space and you introducing to new things. You make them feel you make her feel comfortable with coming to you and say, I need you to go buy me some tampons. And you're like, all right, let's do this. Even with food and nutrition, I don't make them feel bad. I think Vanessa said this before. There's no such thing as bad foods. Don't make them feel like you're a horrible person because you're over here eating Oreo cookies.
True.
Or, every kid's favorite macaroni and cheese, and they will make a meal out of that, like a whole meal. So
Vanessa mentioned it a while the other day, the last week actually, about how she handles in regards to minimizing on certain foods, which
yeah,
I said that I'm gonna definitely use that, what you said. So you basically were saying that your daughter, I'm just giving an example. One of your daughters would come to you and be like, Mommy, I got this acne on my face or whatever the case. And you'd be like, and instead of telling them it's probably because of the extra cake or the ice cream they're eating,
right.
you would have them answer that by using that situation in regards to, well, did you look at the food that you're eating? And then they'll make the determination, okay, I'm eating too much cake. They will stop it rather than you telling them in
I
regards
feel
to
like
that.
you have to
If you could
you
explain
have to
that
like
further.
I feel like bring awareness because we've all been teenagers before and you kind of need to do a cause and effect thing with them. I mean, the girls are always
Yep.
running, they work at Chick-fil-A, they get a free meal there during their, shift and whatnot. And Chick-fil-A does have healthy options. I will tell you, I have my lineup every time I need to go to Chick-fil-A. Anyway,
Yes.
but also these girls love to
Yes.
gallivant around Alamance County and do their thing. So my youngest daughter, would come to me and she'd be like, Mom, my face is like really breaking out this week. And I'll just look at her and stop and pause and say, well, what have you been eating this week? Let's see what we've been eating this week. And she'll look at me and be like, yeah, actually, I did eat out a lot more than I normally do. Or, yeah, I did really pick up some of those extra fries, or, you know, making them aware of how food affects your inside and your outside, I think is super important. I didn't even need to say a
Mhm.
word to her. She knew. She knew once I said, "Well, what
Yeah.
have you eaten this week?"
Yep.
And then I'll say, "Is
Yep.
there anything you want from the
I like that
anything you want from
approach.
the supermarket
Yep.
next week, Chloe?" And she'll look at me, she's like, "Actually, can you please pick me up some carrots and hummus and the almond butter
Yep.
and more so things along those lines, instead of, oh, I'm going to run out for lunch today. Oh, I'm going to go get this
Yes.
today."
Yep.
Because
Yes.
you have to make them aware. If you're constantly telling someone, don't drink that, don't do that, why are you eating so much of that? I mean, we all know that when someone is telling you, especially as a kid, you can't do that, they want to do it even more. So you just have to make
I'm
them
still like that as an
aware
adult.
of it. Man, if she still chose
Yeah.
to go and eat fast food and then came to me crying about her acne or whatnot, I would just look at her and be like, Chloe, what did you eat this week? And again,
Yep.
like, you just have to constantly remind them, because they're not thinking of those things all the time. They're thinking about hanging out with their
Yeah.
friends. And I'm not going to tell her, you can't eat that, or you shouldn't be eating that, because she's a 17-year-old that is well aware of the things that fuel her body, because she sees George and I meal prep. She's well aware of the meals that I cook at
Yes.
the house. And she's also well aware of the other things that she's putting in her body, packing her own lunch, and how she feels after she eats them. So you just have to give them a little bit of guidance. Heck, I'm
Yep.
all for going to Chick-fil-A and getting myself, a spicy chicken club and the waffle fries and all those things. But I
Yes.
know the
Yes.
next
Yes.
day,
Mhm.
Oh yes.
Hey.
my stomach is gonna be like grumbling. So, you
Yeah.
know,
Yep. What about yourself, Kalisha?
So I don't have girls. I have 3 boys. So like Christina said, she's the in between Vanessa with the 3
Well,
girls and
same
me with
thing.
3
Same thing with
boys.
guys, with boys. They get either bigger or
So
Oh yeah.
especially.
so I don't think that we have not had the issue of the overeating. Um, what we've had is me understanding that boys eat different from girls when they get into like those teen
mhm,
years where food just don't last. And my husband has to check me and be like, they're growing. This is what we have to go through. So I don't, but I've never said, y'all are eating too much. Don't eat. You know, I just kind of sit back and watch. Like with my 14-year-old, there was a point where I was like, he's the baby. I was like, is he like piling his plate up because he doesn't want anybody else to get it, or he's scared he's not gonna get something, or somebody's gonna eat something before him? And then I just started watching, and I'm like, no, he is eating all his food because he's playing football, so they're practicing every day a week. So that I just kind of watch, like Vanessa said, you just kind of watch him and see. Like, but if there is a point to where I feel like you're not eating enough, then I'm like, is there something going on?
yep,
What changed? What happened to get us from that where
Yep.
we were to here? Um, One thing that I will say with like the meal prep and like being consistent about the things that I buy when I go to the grocery store, I do ask everybody,
mhm,
what do you want? And I will get pretty much whatever they ask for. But I noticed there was a shift from like the chips and the snacks to fruit.
Yep.
My The 14-year-old's asking for like pomegranate juice and pineapple and apples and all of
mhm,
this stuff. So they see like as you're eating better, they'll start to kind of snack on some stuff and be like, okay, that is
yeah,
actually good. And I think
Yes.
I'll have that instead of the
Yeah.
other stuff that I've been having. As far as like even with meal prep, like portioning out my meals. My middle son will be like, well, can you, while you're, measuring and portioning, can you do me something to take to work? I can eat that at work instead of going to Bojangles on my
mhm,
break or going to McDonald's or something like that. So, um, they just see you doing the things, and then it just kind of slides in and it becomes norm to them.
Yep.
But as far as like, um, I feel like our family is very like communicative. I call us the living room family. Like our kids, they're in their rooms, but we do congregate in the living room and the dining room and have conversations, which is not what I grew up with. I was a living room kid. I mean, I was in my bedroom, and so you weren't really having many conversations with adults. You're just kind of figuring stuff out, which meant you were having conversations with your friends, which also meant you were
Mhm.
getting the wrong information. So I pride my family on us, our kids knowing that they can come to us about anything. We talk about any and everything. It's across the board. But like Christina said, if it's those things where I just don't know, I'm not a man, so I don't know. Some things my husband
Right.
has to handle. And there
Yes.
are a lot of times I'm like, no, go talk to your daddy because this is not for
This is
me.
not my area of
This ain't that.
expertise.
So to all you guys, what based off what Kalisha just mentioned, did you all come up as bedroom or living room children? And do you think that made any effect in regards to you today, right now today?
Family.
I came up pretty much it was pretty much a
Oh,
bedroom.
really?
Like we did out together somewhat, but we pretty much were, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Totally loved
Yeah.
each other. Totally loved each other.
Yeah.
It was just
Yeah.
that's just the way it was, man. It
You
was
did what they told you to do. You didn't ask any
Mhm.
questions.
Nope.
No questions. And
You ate everything
that
on
was
your
just
plate.
life.
If you
Yeah,
didn't
you ate
like it,
all your
tough.
food. You ate what they gave you. You did what they said. And going back to, I think we talked about the sports thing. Like for us, I will sign you up for anything. My kids love soccer, football, all of that. My only rule is if I sign you up, you finish the season out.
Yep.
It's no, I did it for 2 weeks. I don't want to do it no more. No, buddy, you doing it the whole
Yeah.
season.
Yep.
And then afterwards, because I done spent my coins, we gonna get this time on the field.
yes,
Now,
yes,
Yep.
yes.
after the fact, when the season's up and you're like, I really didn't like that. Okay, then that's your time to say, okay, we won't do that again. But
Right.
you can't just stop in the middle of
Nope.
something. My kids played in the band, and at some point they didn't want to do it again. You wait till the end of the school year, and then next school year you don't have to do
Mhm.
band. But
Yep.
if you're in the middle of school year, it is what it
You've
is.
made a commitment.
So we do allow them to have
Yeah.
a say in some things. Like some things are just parental, this is what it is. But there's a lot more communication and talking in my family than what I grew up with.
Yeah.
And again, nothing wrong with that. It was
Right.
nothing wrong with that. Like nothing wrong with that. Because I could go to my mother and father and talk about anything. Like I was
Yeah.
doing intimidation in regards to that. It was just that's just the way it was, man. It was just that.
Yeah.
What about
Or
yourself,
it-
Vanessa?
I grew up
Did you
in
come up
a
in
living room household. I'm one of 4, so we only had one TV. And my dad would watch TV with us every night while my mom cleaned up the kitchen because she wanted us out of the kitchen. So we would have family time, and my dad is the coolest parent ever, still to this day. And we always had open conversation, or he never really was the parent that he didn't like force us to do stuff if we didn't want to do it, other than you made a commitment, you're following through. But he would really listen to us, and he would
Yes.
ask us questions like, why do you not want to do this? And we
Yeah.
couldn't just tell him because I don't. Would just say like that's not a reason, But my
Yeah.
household now is a living room household. My husband did not grow up in a living room household. They grew up in a room household where they didn't talk about anything. So it was a very different dynamic. And having girls, they never stop talking ever.
So he
Boys either.
came up a total
Yeah.
180.
And also, like, my
Like
family
Oh, that's a
in the room, yes.
360.
my family, since we grew up as a living room family, when we have functions at my parents' house, we all sit at the dining room table and just talk and talk. And at first, George was not
Mhm.
used to that. So he's come a long way. Yeah, he's come a
Yes.
long way. We're a lot to take on, I feel like. But the girls, I love that they want to talk. Yes, it's at the worst time of the day.
Yes.
Yes, it is right when I get into bed and they're coming home from work and I'm exhausted. Yes, it is like in the middle of the day. I mean, Ava's away at college and she calls me all the time. She knows I'm working. Some days I'm in the office and, it
No matter.
I'm like, this is my daughter. I just gotta,
Nope.
I'm gonna take this, and she will chew my ear off, and
Yep.
I love it. Um, you know,
Yes.
I'm even like that with their friends. Like when their friends come over, these other teenage girls, like
Mhm.
Mhm.
they're like my extra children. I tell them, like it's just
Yeah.
That's cool.
open.
That's
It's
real
just
cool.
very,
Really cool.
carefree. Because that's the way my parents, mostly my dad, like made it for all of our friends and just made it a very just accepting household. So I hope that the girls feel the same, like that I'm doing the same for them.
Yeah.
Yep.
I
Got it.
always say that I tried to be what I needed when I was their
Yes.
age.
Definitely.
And so for me, that was somebody just listen, no matter what
Mhm.
it was.
True.
Mhm.
And somebody that you could just tell anything. And like Vanessa said, they will talk to you in some of the most unpredictable and times where
Uncomfortable.
you're like, yes, like I'm about to go in my room and go to bed, and then there's a
Yep.
hour conversation that starts. But I
Yes.
love every
Mhm.
minute of it.
Yes.
And wouldn't take
Yep.
anything for it.
I can't wait for that. I cannot freaking
Yeah.
wait. And I wanted to be that case, man. I wanted to be that case. Like I said, my father was not intimidating whatsoever. By no means. He was respected.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it was never
Yes.
a time when I feared my mother or father. It was total respect. I didn't want to mess
Respect.
up or do
Yeah.
anything wrong to lose
You
his,
didn't want to
you know what I'm saying,
disappoint
the
them.
respect of him. You know what I'm saying? At
Same.
all.
Yeah.
Right.
At all.
Mhm.
At all. At all.
Yeah.
Another thing I'm gonna need help with. So right now Jazzy is picky eater. And this we're gonna actually carry over into the next episode, but I want you guys to think about this for me. So Jazzy she's a picky eater. She is I want to make sure that I'm not setting her up, me and Kelby aren't setting her up for failure going forward in
Yeah.
regards to we introduced her to
Mhm.
foods. You know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
even me just using that term picky, I really can't even say she's a picky eater because we introduced her to foods. Like she was not in the womb eating waffles with syrup on it. You know what I'm saying? I want to ensure that I am not setting her up for failure in regards to the foods that she is eating. Should I push her to eat certain foods? Should I pull foods away from her? This is just a question I want you guys to think of in regard to your own families and all. Like,
Mhm.
how have you guys done them? You know what I'm saying? As far
Yeah.
as coming up, did you force certain things on them? Did you take certain things away from them? The things that you initiated by giving them, like somebody
Mhm.
said, the macaroni and cheese, freaking meal off of macaroni and cheese, and that's all you
But
want.
for kids, that is a meal. Like
It
if you go to a
is.
restaurant,
It is a
macaroni
legit
and
meal.
cheese is an
That's a
entree.
meal.
Oh my God!
Yes. and
And you
it's
can't
just
have
those
macaroni
things.
and
I mean,
cheese now.
Jazzy is 4 too.
Yes,
So
Right.
there's those stages where my oldest son, even though he has special needs, there was a stage where he wouldn't eat anything but yogurt.
Yep.
And it about flipped me upside down. But the pediatrician was like, but he's
Yep.
getting something. Like
Yes.
this is just we're just in this stage right now. Just try to slide some things here and there where you can. And as far as the macaroni and cheese goes, like he loves macaroni and cheese too. And when I ask him what do you want, 9 times out of 10 he'll go to the cabinet. But what I do is if we had like some type of ground meat or some chicken or broccoli or any type of vegetable, sweet potatoes, whatever, I will mix some of whatever that was that we had for dinner in with that macaroni and cheese just so he's getting other food
got you.
groups and not
Got you.
just the macaroni and cheese. And you
Mhm.
can hide the things that you want her to have in stuff. You can mush up some beans and some spaghetti
Yep.
sauce or, just
Smoothies with the fruits and stuff.
yeah.
Yep.
Mhm.
So correct me if I'm wrong. So this is her time when she is sponging everything.
Mhm.
So
Yes.
Mhm.
again, back to the am I doing the wrong thing or right thing? She is picking up everything. She's picking up her character right now. She's picking up the foods and stuff that I've given her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do I just say, Brian, she's a child, whatever the case, just let her have fun, let her eat what she wants to eat? Or do I wait and possibly mess up the situation by, you know what I'm saying? Do I force that? Not force. Do I coerce her into eating the right things now as a child so that she develops forward with that?
Well, you lead by example. You know, when
Mhm.
we were growing up, you were always told, do as you're told and not as a do kind of thing. But you lead by example. Just to Kalicia's point, with her meal prepping and doing some of the stuff, she's noticed the change in her own family of wanting now to, instead of this bag of chips, I want some fruits. You
Yeah.
know, they start to see you doing certain things and they wanna be a part of that because they see that change. They see the transformation. They see those things. So if you're leading by example, you know, they definitely see that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't necessarily say if you cut out things, you're kind of subconsciously cutting them
Yeah.
out. You're not telling her that she can't eat that because it's not
Right.
good for you. Or macaroni and cheese, you know, again, you can find a healthier version of that by making it from scratch. I mean, I
Mhm.
understand, and then she can actually help you make
Yeah.
it, and she's more apt to eat that. Or portion control. You know, waffles and syrup. I get it. I want to drain all my stuff in syrup too. But if you put it in
Mhm.
like a serving size cup, like
This is it. This is all
Vanessa
your
Vanessa,
was
she did
syrup.
mention that, yes.
yeah, like you're
Yeah.
actually that's where that control
Mhm.
comes in because now you're not allowing her to put half a bottle of syrup
Yep.
on there, you know, or you change out things for healthier versions if you can. And you can make her waffles. I mean, you
Some
know,
protein.
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
yeah, I mean you can.
Yeah.
But
Yes, yes,
it is
yes.
it's really boils down to us as parents leading by example because they're going to when they see that they want to mimic what
Yeah.
you're doing. They
Mhm.
do.
Mhm.
True.
And they'll ask all the questions. But Kalisha had even mentioned the workouts she's posting in her garage. Like
Mhm.
her sons are loving those workouts. My own son has asked me, you know, to give him some workout plans because, you know, you notice like, gosh, mom's
Yeah.
doing it. So I want to be a part of that. So definitely leading by example.
How do you work that, Vanessa? How do you go about doing that same thing in regards to well, how did you do coming up in regards to bringing your daughters
I
up?
always
Did you restrict them from certain?
mm-mm. No, we don't have good foods and bad foods in this house. Um they are kids,
Mhm.
you know, they did go to school with other kids and the lunch packing and all those things, but I would always ask my kid each night they would be able to each individual would be able to pick something for dinner, and it had to have, a vegetable, a green vegetable, or, like, carrots, not just corn, because all kids love corn. But I would let them pick,
True.
and I would say, "This meal is for the whole family, so you're gonna help me make it." And I got them,
Yep.
into the kitchen, understanding things, um all my girls like different vegetables. Chloe she just hates a string bean. That kid hates a string bean. But she will eat like 2 or 3 and be like, "I'm done with those, mom. I really don't like them." Even at age 17. But I never forced her to eat them. I never forced the girls to eat anything. They were like, "I really don't like this, mom." Now they eat everything. They eat asparagus
Yeah.
and all those things, Brussels
Brussels
sprouts.
sprouts.
I mean, even when they go out to dinner, they'll send me pictures of their food. They're ordering grilled salmon with wild rice and like all these things because they don't want to eat the junk. They don't want to, when they're
That's
going
what's
to a
up.
nice
Yeah.
restaurant, they want to eat like actually have a vegetable and all those things. They order salad. Um, yeah,
That's
and
what's
I
up.
think a lot has to do with I never restricted any food from them. I never not
Right.
bought them I mean, they love some Betty Crocker gummies, in the packs, has to be Betty Crocker.
Yeah.
I never restricted any of that stuff having it in the house, but I was like, "Did you already have a pack of those today?" I wouldn't let them
Yeah.
overindulge in it, um, because that's not a healthy, like, habit I want to,
Mindset.
like,
True.
encourage. I was a
Yeah.
binge
True.
eater as a teenager, and still to this day, I am an emotional eater, and I don't want my children to have to go through something like that. I don't. So I keep all the
Yeah.
food here.
Sure.
I mean, chips, whatever. But they know for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Breakfast, we always have fruit. We always have fruit with breakfast, always. But lunch and dinner, you need to either have a fruit with your lunch or a vegetable. Dinner, we're always having a vegetable. You know,
Yeah.
whether it's a salad, whether it's string beans, broccoli. I mean, and Brian, honestly, one thing that we always did, George and I, we always let the girls try what we ordered at the restaurant. Like if we
Yeah.
ordered something like salmon or, you know, whatever, I would always like cut it.
And we
Yeah, I
actually
would
do
let them
that.
cut it up, and you
Yeah.
know what? They're like, "Nah, I really don't like that," or "I love that. Can we have that at home?" And I really think it broadened their,
Yep.
Mhm.
you know, love of food, but getting Jazzy in the kitchen and asking her, like, "What's your favorite fruit? What's your favorite vegetable?" You know, the more
Yep.
colorful your plate is, I used to tell the girls, the more
Yeah.
colorful your plate is, the happier your belly will be.
Yep.
Yes.
As corny
Yes.
as that sounds,
Yes.
but I mean,
Hey,
it
It's the
worked.
truth.
if it
Yeah.
works, that's what's up.
Yes.
Yep.
All right, ladies. Again, another very enjoyable conversation with you guys, man. Again, going into the next episode, we're gonna go a bit deeper into that same conversation regarding the talking with your children in regards to
Yeah.
nutrition. To avoid or to try to avoid situations and whatever that situation may be, whether it's overeating, as Vanessa mentioned in regards to the binge eating, like it's certain things that we can see without
Mhm.
saying
Mhm.
certain
Yep.
things, you know what I'm saying? And just ways of approaching certain things that we see in regards to the overeating, undereating. Yes, but definitely next conversation we'll dive deeper into that.
Yep.
All right, guys. Again, beautiful conversation. And we will look for you guys. What episode is this now? This is episode 2, going into episode 3.
Yep.
All righty. Y'all have a great
Bye.
one, guys. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.